I guess they did an abundance debate on PodSave, moderated by John Lovett. And I don't know much about this except that Matt showed me like a still of the reaction shot to a claim here made by the pro-abundance woman, right?
Well, I don't know. See, that's hard to describe. I think in here she's actually she thinks she's representing abundance, but she's actually the non-abundant side, and I think Lovett would be the more density side. Because if you look at Imelda, what's her name here? Imelda Padilla.
Okay.
Her entire Wikipedia is about how she stops housing developments that from being like 6 stories to 3 stories. And in fact, she brings that up in this answer. So this is the weird thing, is like this abundance debate has been sort of taking shots at the left the whole time, as if we're the ones against zoning and against housing density. But no, actually the people against that are Democrats who represent like people who are primarily concerned with their property value.
Right. Okay. So let's let it rip.
Here's John Lovett talking about what that IMer was talking about the urgent need to build housing.
Right. They are making a claim that we are failing in California to build enough. Like, this is an emergency. The problem isn't that there are going to be buildings too high near transit stops. The problem is there is nowhere for people who want to come to California to live. It is pushing our entertainment business out. It is pushing young people out. This is an emergency. We should all be freaking out about how urgent it is to do anything humanly possible to build housing. And you're worried about whether or not there's a place for a few senior citizens to sit outside a building that developers are trying to build. And I'm saying, great, that's important. But are you focused on what will ultimately make California affordable for the people in your district?
Well, I am. And this is why I said, speak for yourself. And that's why I also said, we can't assume that the superhero here is the developer. So, for example, under the emergency ordinance, I'm bringing a set of tiny homes into an underutilized Metrolink parking station. I didn't have to.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, so when she said, it can't just be development side, which is the abundance thing, for developers, it's beneficial and financially lucrative.
Yeah, don't defer to them. They've failed. So
right.
I like to hear that.
I love to hear it. But what did she just say?
So this is her approach to abundance, which is, I've never seen these in my life before.
I've seen them living in LA. I saw them in Pasadena. I've seen this Eagle Rock one. I lived in the neighborhood over from Eagle Rock.
This is the solution to her, is to build these little shacks, garden sheds basically, in parking lots. And because she supported that over, to be fair, I mean, the community doesn't want those. And like, I kind of say, like, first of all, the community is wrong for opposing housing density broadly, but this kind of housing is not a solution.
Yeah, let's hear more of her explanation, and then I want to see a bit more about these. Like, they look like shanty homes?
Yeah.
They look like favelas.
And
they put it in medians and highways sometimes.
And that's not even really why I was responding to this clip. Like, that's not what John Lovett goes... I mean, he does react pretty strongly to that, but yeah, here it is.
Under the emergency ordinance, I'm bringing a set of tiny homes into an underutilized Metrolink parking station. I didn't have to do any outreach.
One parking station.
But Lovett sighing like that was so good. I did it in the middle of the answer. I don't know if that was voluntary, but it was satisfying. Can you go back so we can capture that?
Homes into an underutilized. For the emergency ordinance, I'm bringing a set of tiny homes into an underutilized Metrolink parking station. I didn't have to do any outreach, but I started a neighborhood watch, and I also had a whole town hall related to addressing that component. And there's also an ED1 that's being built on Victory and Balboa. And going back to what you said, the neighbors didn't want it at all. They just didn't want the density. They wanted me to kill it. But by law, I really have no jurisdiction anymore because it's an ED1, right? But we still, as a team, got together with the developer, the high school across the street, other stakeholders, and instead of building something that was potentially 6 stories, we got it down to 3 stories. And we also got the developer to also work with us to make sure that it helps the families of the area. We also said, instead of a ton of office space, we do want you to also incorporate a few more parking lots and EV chargers. So yeah, I mean, there's some developers that have built housing where it looks like a big, ugly cement box in the middle of the neighborhood. But what I want is something that people will be proud of, something that people will be excited to say, this is why I'm coming to Los Angeles. Because you really think that all these young people that are seeking the Hollywood jobs, that want to come to Los Angeles, want to live in a cement-looking building and find it to be dignified? I don't think so. But SB 79 creates a situation where the developer can actually do that, build something that no one is excited about.
Scott, is there a part of this where
Oh, he just moved on? Oh, like, I know they're like professionals over there at Pod Safe, but I just wanted him to let it rip there.
Oh my God.
Did he just move on? He was like he wasn't laughing in her face. He was just pissed off at
Exasperated.
the insanity of this thing.
Let's see where this follow-up
So
goes.
she's an LA city council member?
Yeah.
people just need to accept that if we're going to build the amount of housing we need in the speed that we need it, some of these concerns can't be addressed, that we just got to move fast and not everybody's going to like it.
Yeah, I mean, no one's ever going to be totally happy, but
Okay, but so we don't really, like, the point here is, who is vetoing this?
Yeah.
It is the local homeowners, because we have made property values basically like the key to a materially comfortable existence in this country. People are jealously guarding it. Why are people opposed to it? Okay, you don't like the 6-story block, cement block. Make it look nicer.
Right, right. I mean, do you want to live in like my apartment building is a big cement block, but it's an apartment building and not.
What's the square footage?
Yeah, right.
How many bathrooms?
I have a bathroom in my apartment. I've got one bathroom as opposed to this. Can we just take a look at this? And apparently, I guess Lovett does kind of go off here. But is this video worth playing, showing what this is?
Oh yeah, yeah, we can play this.
It's probably going to get an ad.
LA's newest tiny home village for the homeless has opened in Eagle Rock. A ribbon cutting ceremony was held there this morning. The new site will provide nearly 100 beds along with air conditioners and heaters and bathrooms. It's part of a larger plan to develop housing opportunities throughout LA neighborhood.
Well, housing
by neighborhood.
opportunities.
Less than a year ago, this was site of one of the largest encampments in this neighborhood. But next week, it'll become a place of hope, a place of rebirth, a place of belief,
So this is very
a place of
old. This is
opportunity
Garcetti.
where people can find stability
Yeah.
and security.
This must be pretty old.
I lived right by here. That's also the same neighborhood that Obama did the WTF pod in.
Oh, really?
So we've been open to the miracle of tiny homes, and we still have a massive homeless problem. It's almost as if that's not really the solution.
Right. Well,
To make the like encampments have like harder roofs.
So yes, I guess those are for the pictures being shown there. Yeah, that's for the unhoused, and I'm not, solutions like this. If you're trying to create shelter for people temporarily in like abandoned parking lots and stuff like that, I'm not opposed to that as a stopgap measure, but it does not address the underlying problem.
Like where the screenwriters are going to live.
Right,
That
right,
problem
right.
she's worried about.
That problem.
But what's the actual impediment to building that sort of housing? Like you could build lots of it. You could build a taller buildings with higher square footage. But once you start getting to a point where that housing produced by the government competes with all these other people who are only concerned with their property values because, look at all this brand new government-made housing on the market that's competing when I'm trying to sell mine. That's all this is.
Right.
It's not the left. It's not like, wanting to make sure grandma has a wheelchair ramp. It's the property owners, and that's who's always had the veto on this sort of policy.
Well, that's what's amazing about how they've changed the conversation about YIMBYism versus NIMBYism, because a great example of this phenomenon is, say, just like watch that show, Show Me a Hero, that limited series about the Yonkers housing fight. It was always about property values and people who owned homes there not wanting low-income housing, aka black people or, minority people coming into their neighborhood and changing their property values. It's about maintaining home values for people that already have the ability to purchase homes. And the Abundance book has changed the villain, even though they pretend they don't care about villains, to generally groups, which could be capitalists, it could be business, but it could also be the environmental groups, which they cite. And that's, there needs to be changes in codes and regulations, and I think it seems like LA in particular has like a certain set of issues that we haven't, like, I can't fully gauge here from New York, that are more obviously specific to that part of the country, but they have changed the villains and they've distracted from who the real villains are and who is slowing housing in certain areas.
It's the inequality, stupid. And
Yep.
you can't get around any of these issues by avoiding it, even no matter how sort of pragmatic that seems, or, you know, how much funding you're able to get for your venture if you are willing to sort of try to exist under that fantasy.
Kowalski has a great IM. I have an idea. Take those tiny homes, push them together where you will have like a central hall where these tiny homes open up into maybe like 10 of them. And you can stack them on top of each other, maybe 6 high. And at the end of each hallway, there's a communal bathroom on one end and on the other end, a communal laundry. I'm not sure what to call this, but some consulting firm out of Los Angeles owes me $20 million for this idea.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.